Hello viewers, this is Cynthia Michael from Screen Reviews, bringing you my 412 podcast. This is my 412 podcast. And like always, I'm going to speak very loudly, very clearly, and very slowly, in case you don't understand me. Also, I'll try to do my best not to preach so hard during this audio podcast recording as well, not to cause any audio feedback as well. And finally, if you're under 18, this audio podcast recording will contain your adult language. Once again, if you're under 18, this audio podcast recording will contain your adult language. Now, if you're over 18, then you're good to watch this audio podcast recording. So anyway, with this everything out of the way, let's get into the topic of this podcast. Oh my fucking god! Netflix had debuted yesterday. Yesterday, Netflix had debuted its live-action Winx Club series called Fame, the Winx Club Saga. So basically, the first season of the live-action Winx Club series had debuted on Netflix. Only 6 episodes for the first season. So the episode 6 episodes long. Basically, like each episode is at least like basically an hour long. So basically, it's like if you plan on watching this series, this live action Winx Club series, this series is 6 episodes long. Basically, each episode is an hour long at tops. So basically, I just finished watching. I just finished watching this series. I gotta say, oh my god, this shit is a mixed bag. Oh, I have been a Winx Club fan ever since I watched ever since the English dub came to start to play on 4Kids TV back in the day. So basically, I love the Winx Club series, even though the Winx Club series got had its problems. I love the Winx Club series. I love the Winx Club animated series, but this live action series, I gotta say, it's not terrible. I'm not saying it's terrible, but it's pretty clear this series has, for its first season, this series does have some problems that need to be fixed. This series, I'm not saying this series terrible, but I did. After my first reaction after watching the whole series, I thought that this series was a piece of fucking trash. But after rewatching the first season over again, there is some potential here. Don't get me wrong. The acting is good. The special effects is good. The actors in their acting are good. The special effects are pretty goddamn good. But it's just like the story and tone of this series is mostly a bit kind of a mess. So basically, the story is like they tried to squeeze this series story part into 6 episodes. So basically, I feel like in this first season they had this big series part in this whole first series, and tried to squeeze it into 6 episodes. So basically, I feel like this series I feel like this series should at least had 10 episodes to help the story plot along. So basically, the story plot is like this series first season. The story plot kind of suffered because this series is only this first season only had 6 episodes. So basically, I wish that this series would have had the first season would at least like 10 episodes. But COVID with the coronavirus coronavirus and whatnot. Anime this series even got, with the coronavirus and all, this series, animate this series even got to make 6 episodes for its first season. But, that's one major problem. The other major problem is the tone of this series. The tone, I know that this series is trying to go towards a more adult dark tone for that's what the series is going for, like a more grown up dark tone for the series, but it seems like I'm watching Riverdale. It seems like they're mixing the dark tone of Riverdale and the dark tone of legacies together into the, it seems like they're copying the dark tone of Riverdale and legacies, both shows that come on the CW together. Seems like they're just copying, mixing these two shows adult tone together and copy it, and it's just the tone of the show is like, 1 minute it seems like you're watching Riverdale, and the next minute you feel like you're watching Legacies, or the chilling adventures of the Sabrina the Teenage Witch. So basically, the tone seems to change. Like, 1 minute they go into a dark Riverdale tone, the next minute they go into a dark Legacies tone. The other times they're going for a chilling adventures of Sabrina the Teenage Witch dark type of tone. So basically, the tone needs to be worked. But honestly, but the biggest thing that really pissed me off about this series is Musica. They whitewash Musica. Mercer. Now, if you watch the Winx animated series, Mercer in that series is Asian. It's Mid Eastern. So basically, she is Asian. In this series, Mercer is played by a white Irish woman. So basically, this series had after seeing this whitewash version of Mercer, I was literally fucking pissed off. On top of that, they changed her powers. So they changed her powers from Mirta's powers in the anime series was based on the sound and music sounds and whatnot. But in this series, her powers are like she has second mind emotional powers. So basically, that's one more thing that pissed her off. But the biggest thing is that that the first season really fucked up on is not establishing the main group. It's not. They did not really establish the main group in this first season. We do have Mercer, we do have Bloom, we do have Stella, but Flora and Techna are not present in this first season. So basically, there's no Techna or Flora in this first season. But we do have this white kind of version of substitute for Flora named Terrain, which is honestly, I don't, this thick girl named Terrain is like this white substitute version for Flora. Now, don't get me wrong, I do like Terrain, but honestly, I hope that she gets if they do bring Flora in, I would not mind that that Terrain will be put as a secondary character, and once they bring in for Will and Techna. So basically, it didn't really establish the main group of characters. Which I found really strange, did that also, who was introduced in the original Week series, he didn't get produced in the original anime series by season 2. In this series, they made Ursula. They introduced her in season 1 of this live action series. So basically, I would say I feel like they should have waited to. I feel like they should have waited to introduce Asa if into season 2. They should have waited to introduce her into season 2 along with Flora and Techna. So basically it's this season. But what I'm trying to say is they didn't really stay true to the original series in the first season of this live action series. So basically that's what I'm trying to explain here. This series didn't really stay true to the original storyline and the material from the original series. So basically, I'm not saying this series is bad. It does have a lot of problems and issues that needs to be fixed. That need to be fixed. But honestly, if you're not are you a Winx Club fan? I would not recommend you watching this series. But if you're not a Winx Club fan, I will most definitely not recommend you watching this series. But at the same time, there is something. But this series does have, but this live action series, it does have, the first season had a lot of problems, a lot of issues to it. But this series does have potential to be good once these problems are fixed. Like I'm not sure. I just what I'm trying to say, this series, the first season is, it's kind of a lot of fuck ups and a lot of fuck ups in this first live action series of the Winx Club. So basically, but I do believe that this series does have potential to be better in season 2. So basically, if these problems and issues are fixed by season 2, once usually a lot of first shows do have some problems and some issues in their first season. So basically, once they get into their second season, those problems issues are fixed. So basically, I'm really hopeful for these problems to be fixed, but to be fixed by the series' second season. But we just have to wait and see. Now, I'm not saying that the first season is kind of trashy, but there are some good. There's some good, but there's some good about this series. So basically, what I'm trying to say is, yes, the first season is kind of mixed. It's kind of mixed bag of issues and problems, and it has a mixed bag of problems and issues and story in the whole adult tone for the series. But at the same time, there's some potential. There are some good parts for this series to be successful. There's some good parts for this series, but if I had to recommend this series to any Winx Club fan or any non-Winx Club fan, I gotta say is, hey, it's up to you if you want to check this series out for yourself. So anyway, that's just my opinion. This is just my view on the whole first season of the Winx Club Saga. I'm hoping that things will get better in season two. You know, these problems and issues will be fixed, and this series will be better in season two. That's what I'm really hoping for. That these problems and issues in season one will be fixed by season two. But otherwise, this series. Otherwise, I thought this series does have potential to be successful, but if these problems and issues are fixed. But otherwise, I gotta say I still have mixed feelings. Like I still have mixed feelings about the series. Like I think on the one hand, I think the whole first season is kind of trash. But on the other hand, I think that this series does have good potential. It does have good action. It does got good action, good acting, and good special effects to it. But the issues and problems that I described, needs to be fixed. Needs to be fixed by season two. So anyway, what I'm trying to say, it's really up to you if you want to check this series out. So basically, I just can't recommend this series. So basically, it's really up to you. It's really up to you, viewers, if you want to check this Winx Club series out for yourself. So anyway, I'm just telling you my opinion and my review on this series. So basically, at the end of the day, it's up to you to if you want to check this series out. So basically, if you enjoy this series or if you don't enjoy this series, that's up to you. That's up to you. That's your opinion. I'm just telling you my opinion and my review on this series. So anyway, like always, this Cynthia Michael saying, what do you guys think about the first season, about this live action Winx Club series? Was it good? Was it okay? Was it just nah? Please let me know what the comments below this podcast. So anyway, like always, this Cynthia Michael from the Screen Review. Sign off. 1.